Hi guys, in this video I want to talk about a common theme I keep seeing in various gyms, just generally in the fitness industry, and this is this obsession with almost trying to take the muscle to absolute failure, so doing lots of drop sets, supersets, extended sets, all out to failure sets, constantly, all the time. We just need to almost take a step back and just realise what we're trying to achieve here. So we know unequivocally that volume is the biggest determining factor for hypertrophy. Therefore, if we're constantly doing kind of drop sets, extended sets, especially if you're doing this on the first set, there's no way you're going to be able to achieve as much volume over the remaining sets. So for example, if you were to do, let's say an incline dumbbell press, and you take it to absolute failure, let's say you get 8 repetitions, without question the remaining 2 sets, just say if you're doing 3 sets, are going to be significantly lower in terms of the total rep ranges. And if we add the total volume for those 3 working sets, that's going to be the weight times reps times sets, so those 3 things to get added together. The volume is actually going to be lower than if you were to maybe not go to absolute failure on the first set and then perhaps take the last set to failure. The reason I bring this up is almost like this constant obsession with trying to be a warrior in the gym, impress other people around you by doing these vast drop sets, etc. So it's important to note that taking the muscle to absolute failure is a tool. These extended sets are a tool, but they're not to be abused. We need to realise, like I mentioned before, volume is the top of the hierarchy of importance. So therefore we don't want to sacrifice the total volume of the session by trying to go to absolute failure all the time. As a side note, doing these kind of drop sets, extended sets, etc., they're very hard to quantify, whereas if you're just doing standard traditional straight sets, much easier to measure, therefore you can measure your progress against them. So as a side note, going back to the volume equation, there's actually a very recent study by Brad Schoenfeld where essentially he measured a powerlifter type routine and a bodybuilder type routine. Volume was equated, so that's the key thing. So essentially the powerlifter was doing several sets of low repetitions, typical bodybuilder less sets, higher repetitions. So despite the different setup between the powerlifting routine and the body routine, because volume was exactly the same, hypertrophy was exactly the same between the 2 groups. However, the strength was considerably greater on the powerlifter routine. So is that to say just do the powerlifting style workout? Well, no, because you need to look at the study in greater detail. If you realise, if you look at the study, you can see the amount of time the trainees were in the gym, and it was well over an hour. It was almost like 1.5 hours plus 2 hours. But the thing you can take from that is using a combination of both. Both have their place, the lower rep type powerlifting type rep range as well as the bodybuilder type rep ranges. Both have their benefits, because if you can get stronger, when you then go into the hypertrophy rep ranges, you're going to be able to be stronger in those rep ranges and therefore achieving greater volumes. Remember, that's our ultimate goal. So just to clarify, I'm not saying that drop sets, supersets, extended sets aren't useful. They are, but they are in moderation. Remember, as Eric Helms says, don't put the cart before the horse, almost saying don't sacrifice total volume by doing these extended sets and drop sets, etc. So use them as a tool. I'd suggest looking to use them, if you are going to use them, maybe at the last set on probably mainly your isolation work, and then I'd probably take your last set on all your compound lifts, so squat, deadlift, bench press to, well, I say failure, obviously movements like squat is very difficult to get to absolute failure. But the key point I'm making is don't try and take every single set to failure. So I hope you found this useful. I know I've kind of gone off on a few tangents here and there. If you like the video, please click like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.